Good afternoon, guys. This is David and Matthew from Busy Bee Farms, and today I am going to work on a new bucket that I have purchased. This is a bucket that I had specially made from USA Attachments to go on my KX040. This bucket is made. The issue that I was having is as I'm digging out in front of me, and if I'm just digging like I normally dig, then I don't like to be stretched all the way out. I can't see down in the hole. So I like to be up where my arm is almost just a little past straight up and down, and then to dig and then dig back to me. Well, with the standard Kubota bucket, as you go down and you get more down, then the bucket is not out enough, and it tends to start coming back towards you. The bottom of your wall is coming in towards you, so it's not a straight wall. So I was talking to some guys, and they said, well, what you need is a cemetery bucket. And what a cemetery bucket is it has a different attachment. The bracket up here that attaches the bucket to the machine, the bucket part to the machine, it is designed different to where the bucket itself, when you're setting up, curls back more so that you can straight wall the far wall of your hole. It's designed that way so that nobody has to get in to the hole when they're digging a cemetery plot. So after some convincing to the USA Attachment people, I was able to talk them into making me this bucket. This bucket normally comes 36 inches wide, 37 inches wide. And I was able to talk them into making me this bucket. And I think it's, I wanted it 12 inches, but I think this bucket is 14. Let's put a tape measure on it here. Yeah, it's 14 inches outside to outside. And I was able to talk them into doing that for me. Other than that, it's got a smooth cutting edge with a replaceable double cutting edge, so the back edge is also cutting right here, and I can flip that around. But what I was having issues with is my thumb wouldn't work on this bucket because they had it coming just straight. So I took a cutting torch and cut that out so my thumb will come down. It doesn't fully close because it's hitting here, but it gets within probably 6-8 inches. So it's still not perfect, but it does really good. And I tried it for the first time yesterday. Friday, no, not yesterday, Thursday. Yesterday I had an EMS class. I tried it Thursday, and I really liked the way it was digging. Especially, I like the smooth edge. It makes it easier to dig. I'll try to show you this plate up here. USA Attachment, that's their phone number. They've got on there which machine, I guess the number that they've put on it for that machine, and all that. But anyways, I was able to get them to make that for me, and I got it in. And what we're doing is because I lift the boxes and things for the telecommunications company that I do work for, I got these weld-on hooks. It's spring-loaded here. I got these hooks. I've got one of these on my other bucket, and it's worked out really well. So I'm going to, and it's a weld-on. I got these from Mytee, M-Y-T-E-E. It's a really good corporation that I've bought some stuff from. I can get chains, binders. I got a lot of that stuff from Co-op, but anything that you need as far as farming and construction, any type of stuff like that, they've got a lot of stuff. So I'm not affiliated with them in any way. I've just found them, and I've been getting some stuff from them. But what I've done is I've centered this in between here, and I know that it will fit on my machine right there. And I'm going to weld this on so that I can have this hook on there to hook my straps to when I'm lifting boxes. So far what I've done is I've measured, this is my center point in between my brackets here, and I know this is where my quick attach goes to. That's what that line is, and this line. So I know for a fact that this will fit right here because I had it up there on the machine and I marked it out, and then I just took a grinder and knocked the paint off so that I can weld this on. I am not a professional welder or anything like that. You can look at my cut here and tell that I'm not a professional, but I'm just kind of trying to show you guys what I'm doing. So I'm going to be using this Miller. It's a Millermatic 180. It's a 240 volt MIG welder. This has been a really good welder. Laura and the kids got this for me for Father's Day several years ago. It hooks to obviously 240 volts. You can set the thickness of metal, and it auto sets the wire speed and the temperature so that it pretty much sets everything for you to weld. So we're gonna see if we can get this all fitted here and welded up. I think I need to the temperature change, guys, here in Middle Tennessee. Yesterday at this time we were mid 70s, and today we are in the low 30s. So you gotta forgive me that we're all bundled up. It was quite a shock to go from shorts and a t-shirt to 30 degrees as our high. So you know, that's quite a shock. So anyways, I need to do just a little bit more grinding to get that paint back. I want to center this hook. So I need to knock just a little bit more paint off this side. The paint will just make it to where your weld, it pops and cracks and carries on. So I just take a regular 4-inch grinder and knock my paint off just a little bit so that I've got a good clear weld.
You may take a little bit more off the bottom. I don't know.
Yeah, I think it'll be fine. Okay. Because that right there is pretty much what I want. Alright. So I'm just going to do some measuring to center this up. And make sure, because we are 8.5 inches inside to inside. So we want 4 1/4 to be our center, which is what my marks are. So, and I do a whole lot better usually by, once I've got my center marks and everything, just kind of eyeballing it and making sure that it's what I want. I got marks on the sides here of where I had it. So, and we got a little bit of spitting snow, it looks like. Goodness. All right, Matthew, go ahead and turn the welder on for me. Is the gas on?
Not yet. That's enough. You want your helmet first?
I'm just gonna spot it and hold it up here.
Oh, tack weld it. I got the ground up here.
Good ground. Let's see if we got a ground right there. Yep, we got a ground there. Alright, so I'm just going to line it up on my marks on all spots and tack it in place. I'm just closing my eyes to tack it so that it's just kind of held in place, and then I can take a look at it. I make sure that I'm lined up on my mark there, I'm lined up on my mark here, there, and there, because right now I can still knock it loose, knock the welds off, and fix it. But once I weld it all the way around, it's pretty set. So that's what we're going to do. I like that positioning. So. Turn me up, Matthew.
Which one? Bottom?
Yeah. Keep going, keep going, keep going. So I just run a good bead down this side, and I'm gonna come across the top, come across the bottom, and then come down this side. I do have my helmet on now, so that way, this is a auto darkening helmet. This protects your eyes. You don't ever want to look at the flash. In the camera it's fine, but in real life it's so bright it will burn your eyeballs. So you always want to make sure you got your helmet on.
I do not have a helmet on right now, but I'm not looking at it either.
I just done me 2 spot welds to keep it from drawing from the heat. Alright, got me a good weld across the top. I just want to get me a weld across the bottom. We'll come down that other side, and this will be in place. Like I said, I am not a professional welder, metal worker. But on the farm, you better be able to do a little bit of everything. Alright, that's got that welded down that side. The paint that they've got on there, that's what's flaring up. And it's just getting so hot that it's
burning the paint off the hook.
Put me a little bit of nozzle dip on there. That keeps the slag and stuff from building up on the nozzle as bad. Helps to keep it clean. But that's one thing that we are trying to get accomplished today. Now that I've got that hook on there, I'll let it cool, and then I'll put some paint on there so that it don't rust up as bad, and I'll hit these other spots that I cut off. And that will be one thing that I've needed to get done. Yeah, that tape measure's broke.
Yeah, it's junk.
The other thing I was gonna try to do while we've got the welder out, and if you guys have an equipment, then you probably have issues like this also. These are the pins at that hook the arms of the tractor to whatever implement you're trying to
this will just slide right over and put a linch pin in
to hook up, and they're supposed to be tight, and they're mounted to whatever piece of equipment you're hooking up. And you can see that over time they get loose and they waller out. The nut comes off the back, and then it just gets wobbly, loose. You start getting it, you know, where it's not doing right. It don't pick up right, it don't set level. So what we're doing is we're going to replace those, and the vibration of this thing, as this is a brush hog, whatever you want to call it. I call it a bush hog because that's what I've always been taught my whole life. What we're going to do is we're going to replace this with a new one, and once we get it tightened up on there, I'm going to get Matthew to turn the tractor around, and I'm just going to spot weld this nut to this shank to where it can't vibrate loose. And that's kind of the only way I know to make it to where it's going to stay on there. That's what Granddaddy taught me to do before he passed away. This old one, we'll take a look at it here, just kind of show you and see as they loosen up. You can see it's bent a little bit too, but it just vibrates and wears the threads off to where you can't tighten it back up. And it just makes it.
Do I need to pick it up a little bit to get that straight before I tighten it down?
I mean, it needs to be where it's supposed to be.
Okay.
Hold on. Go back down. You have to roll forward just a little bit, Matthew. Whoa. A little bit. Roll back. I didn't say move back, I said roll back. Ease forward. Forward. Hang on. This one turned with my hole up and down. All right, lift up a little bit. All right. What you need to do, Matthew, is you need to get you a block and set it up underneath right here. So we're gonna get this situated here, and I'll bring y'all back and kind of show you how I go about doing that. All right, so for this other side, Matthew took it off. He just backed the nut off, pulled it out. He's gonna take this new one. The lock washer goes to the nut side. We're gonna put it through the frame of the bush hog, the frame of the A-frame riser, lock washer, new nut. Get it tightened up there. And see, this one we've replaced. I got where my pin's straight up and down. It's tight in the back. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna just spot weld it right here so that the nut is welded to this and it can't back off. Now you say, well, what if I need to change it? Take a grinder, cut that weld out, and back it off. If you're going to change it, you're not going to be putting it back on anything else. The only reason you'd ever need to change it is if you broke the actual pin. Not the linch pin, but the lifting pin. So this is just the way my granddaddy taught me to do it, because everyone I've ever seen always wants to back out. The next thing that'll want to back out is the bolts in the gearbox to the housing. Now this is a new bush hog. We've had it, I don't know, 3 years or so. And just over time, you know, this thing is sitting here spinning so fast, and the blades are so big and thick, it vibrates, and that just loosens up. So you might be better than me and be able to watch, and when it first starts getting loose, go back and tighten it up. But as you can see, we put a 24-inch pipe wrench and a 20-inch crescent on there and get it tightened down as tight as we can get it. And you know, it just, even with the lock washer on there, you know, it just, and the lock washer is a split washer, some people call them, but it's supposed to be to where if it starts getting loose, this will keep it from backing off, getting loose. But it happens. So this is the way that I was taught to fix it, to where that won't ever happen again. Good morning, guys. So we were in the middle of making a video about, you know, doing some welding here, and when I went back to try to start welding some more, the welder I started having issues with it, where it was breaking my wire. And what it was doing is where the wire comes off the spool, it goes through this little plastic insert here across the wheel, and then this one is pressed down and held in place by this lock, and it squeezes the wire feed in between this roller and this roller to push it through the stinger, which is the part that you weld with. So it kept breaking, and I was talking to a man at church, and he told me, he said it probably has broke the inner liner, which is this piece right here. And it goes from right here, the wire goes in between that, it goes from there all the way to the tip up there where it comes out. So he told me, he said that is a replaceable item. So what I done was I went to A&L Gas in Clarksville. They were very helpful. It only took them about 15 minutes to switch this out. This stinger lead was about $450, and they took it apart, and they took this nut off here, and they replaced this inner liner for $18, and it took them about 15 minutes to do it. Now I have not tried it. We're pretty certain that was what was wrong with it. I have not tried it, so I'm going to bring you guys along, and we're going to reattach the stinger to the welder and try to feed the wire, and Matthew is going to get the tractor so that we can make sure that those pins are tight, and we're going to just spot weld those real quick. So I'm going to see if I can get you set up here, and we'll try to see if I can find a spot up here on top of the log splitter. See if this will work without dropping you on the floor. So the stinger just inserts through the front, and these two O-rings here go where the gas comes in. Alright, so what I see right now is that they've got this a little long. It's hitting against these wheels, so I'm gonna need to trim that back some, and Matthew watched them do that, so I think they just cut them. But let me see if I can try to do that, and be right back. Alright, so Matthew said they just used a regular set of wire cutters, so I used these crimpers that's got the wire cutters on the tips, and I just trimmed it down the best I remember it looking like, just outside the wheel. So we're gonna see if we can feed this wire back through and get it to feed. Cut that off where Matthew had tied it. And we're just going to feed that wire through that little so the wire comes off the spool, it goes through the little plastic insert over the wheel. This wheel comes down, and then this is the tensioner that goes on there, and it's supposed to be about a 3, I believe is what I read to start with. So let's see, took my stinger lead up. Just gently roll it around until it goes into the notch, and then tighten the nut down. All right, let's see if this works. All right, wires feeding in. Wires feeding in. And what it was doing was it would get out here nearly to the end, and then it would not push through. See how my wheel's rolling, but the wire's not rolling. Well, I do not know, because it is not wanting to feed again. Like I said, guys, I am not a professional welder. There's my wire. So, the wire did come out the tip there, so I'm going to put a tip on it and see if it will weld, if it will push the wire to weld.